Pressure mounted steadily on the East German leadership throughout the summer of 1989. A sense of unease and anticipation filled the air across the German Democratic Republic. The initial cracks appeared far from Berlin. Hungary began dismantling fortifications along its border with Austria, creating an unexpected escape route. East Germans, desperate for freedom, started traveling to Hungary, hoping to cross into the West. Thousands successfully made their way through this opening gap in the Iron Curtain. Subsequently, other avenues were sought. Many East Germans traveled to Prague, seeking refuge within the grounds of the West German embassy. Conditions became extremely difficult for those camped out, awaiting permission to leave. Eventually, an agreement was reached. Special trains carried thousands from Prague across East German territory, finally delivering them to West Germany. While some fled, others chose to confront the regime directly. Within East Germany itself, dissent grew bolder. Beginning in Leipzig, citizens gathered every Monday evening after prayers at the Nikolaikirche. These gatherings swelled into massive, peaceful demonstrations, chanting for reform and freedom. Each week, the number of protesters grew, sending a clear message to the authorities in East Berlin. The demand for change became undeniable. On November 4, 1989, a colossal demonstration took place in East Berlin's Alexanderplatz. Estimates suggest 500,000 people assembled, constituting the largest pro-democracy protest in the nation's history. They demanded freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and crucially, freedom to travel. The pressure was immense. The government sought a way to ease the situation without losing control entirely. 5 days later, on the evening of November 9th, the Council of Ministers decided on new travel regulations. A press conference was scheduled to announce the changes. Günter Schabowski, a Politburo spokesman, was tasked with delivering the news. He hadn't been fully briefed on the specifics or the intended timeline. Asked by a journalist when the new regulations would take effect, Schabowski hesitated, then stated, based on his incomplete understanding, "As far as I know, it takes effect immediately, without delay." Word spread like wildfire through East Berlin. Radio and television broadcasts carried the announcement. Disbelieving yet hopeful, East Berliners began converging on the border crossings along the Berlin Wall. They approached the guards, asking if the border was truly open. Guards, lacking clear instructions and facing growing crowds, were caught completely by surprise. The sheer number of people became overwhelming. Late that evening, facing immense pressure and uncertainty, Harold Yeager, the commander at the Bornholmer Strasse border crossing, made a momentous decision. He ordered his guards to open the gates. A wave of humanity surged through. East and West Berliners met, embraced, and celebrated atop the wall itself. Decades of division crumbled in a single night of jubilation. This pivotal event on November 9th marked the beginning of the end for East Germany. Less than a year later, Germany achieved reunification, formally ending the post-war division. The days following November 9th were filled with overwhelming emotion. Berliners from East and West mingled freely for the first time in nearly 3 decades, exploring parts of their city long inaccessible. Celebrations continued along the formerly impenetrable barrier. People used hammers and chisels, chipping away pieces as souvenirs, dismantling the physical symbol of division bit by bit. During this period, the authority of the East German government rapidly dissolved. The ruling Socialist Unity Party lost its grip on power as citizens demanded fundamental change. The initial calls for reform within East Germany gradually transformed. The protest slogan shifted from "Wir sind das Volk," "We are the people," asserting popular sovereignty, to "Wir sind ein Volk," "We are one people," expressing a desire for national unity. West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl recognized the momentum. In late November 1989, he presented a 10-point plan outlining a path towards confederation and eventual German unification. Events moved swiftly. The East German leadership, facing collapse, agreed to free elections. In March 1990, East Germans voted overwhelmingly for parties advocating rapid reunification with West Germany. Subsequently, attention turned to the international implications. Unification required the consent of the four Allied powers who still held formal rights regarding Germany as a whole, stemming from the post-World War II agreements. Negotiations commenced under the 2+4 framework. These talks involved officials from East and West Germany plus representatives from the United States, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and France. Key issues included Germany's future borders, particularly the Oder-Neisse line with Poland, and its membership in military alliances, specifically NATO. Intensive diplomatic efforts were needed to overcome Soviet reservations. Parallel to diplomatic efforts, practical steps towards integration were taken. An economic and currency union took effect on July 1, 1990. The powerful West German Deutschmark replaced the weak East German currency. This economic unification brought immediate benefits for many East Germans, but also caused significant disruption. Many East German industries struggled to compete, leading to job losses. Finally, after months of internal preparations and successful international negotiations culminating in the 2+4 treaty, the path was clear. The treaty formally restored full sovereignty to a united Germany. On October 3, 1990, less than 11 months after the fall of the Berlin Wall, Germany was officially reunified. Church bells rang out, and celebrations marked the end of 45 years of division. Following the formal reunification on October 3, 1990, the immense task of merging two distinct societies began in earnest. Germany was politically one nation, but integrating its disparate parts posed profound challenges. During this period, East Germany's formerly state-controlled economy required complete restructuring. The Treuhand Agency was established to privatize or manage thousands of East German enterprises. This process was often painful. Many businesses proved uncompetitive, leading to widespread closures and a sharp rise in unemployment throughout the former East. Subsequently, massive financial transfers began flowing from west to east. Billions of Deutschmarks were invested annually in rebuilding infrastructure, supporting social systems, and stimulating economic development under the Aufbau Ost or Reconstruction East program. Integrating legal and administrative systems also demanded significant effort. Laws needed harmonization, and governmental structures were extended across the newly incorporated federal states. Culturally and socially, adjustments were necessary for people from both sides. Decades of separate development had created different experiences, expectations, and even vocabularies. Stereotypes sometimes emerged between Aussies from the East and Westies from the West. Bridging these mental divides became an ongoing process alongside the economic and political integration. Throughout the era following 1990, Germany grappled with the complexities of becoming truly unified internally. Economic disparities persisted, though infrastructure and living standards in the East gradually improved over time. The fall of the Berlin Wall and the subsequent reunification fundamentally reshaped Germany's place in Europe and the world. It marked a conclusive end to the Cold War division of the continent. As events unfolded in the years after reunification, the reunited Germany asserted its role as a major European power. It became a key player within the expanding European Union. The decision was made to move the capital back to Berlin from Bonn, the provisional capital of West Germany. This relocation symbolized the country's renewed unity and its central position in Europe. Rebuilding and renovating Berlin's Reichstag building for the Bundestag, the German parliament, became a significant project. It underscored the democratic foundation of the unified state. Simultaneously, Germany undertook the difficult process of confronting the legacy of the East German state. Access was granted to the vast archives of the Stasi, the former secret police. Opening these files allowed individuals to understand the extent of surveillance and repression. It brought painful revelations about informants, sometimes involving close friends or family members. This reckoning with the past, known as Vergangenheitsbewältigung, was crucial for healing and moving forward. It involved acknowledging injustices and holding some responsible parties accountable. During this period, economic convergence between East and West remained a central policy goal. While significant progress was made, some disparities in income and employment levels lingered for decades. The transformation of the former East German states continued steadily. Cities were revitalized, environmental damage from old industries was addressed, and new economic sectors emerged. Ultimately, the peaceful revolution of 1989 and the rapid reunification that followed stand as defining moments. They reshaped the German nation and fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape of Europe, closing a chapter of division and opening a new era.